Sanibonani maswata mahle. Sengimi futhi lo ngiphinza ngimi ngimandla. Mandla Montingosi. I just want to say, it's quite sad, man. The shape our country is in. I've been living in the United States for 36 years, and all I simply needed was an ID, a Swazi ID, the new Swazi IDs. And the reason I want it is because it seems to be the primary ID that's required everywhere if you want to do transactions in Swaziland. And I took $10,000 bank when my father passed on. I went to to the banks in Swaziland. One of them, I think, was Netbank, where my brother actually works. And I went to Netbank and I asked to deposit the funds, open up an account. And I showed them a Swazi passport. I said, this is Swazi passport. I had this in Swaziland when I left in the 80s. I have a driver's license, it does not expire. I showed them the documents. And they could not open a bank account for me. They told me they wanted this new ID. So they gave me a runaround. So finally, I turned back with my money. We called the bank vice president, who was a very good friend of my mother. And still, I could not open a bank account in Swaziland. I mean, this is the stupidity of Swaziland. I mean, I'm just showing you the systems, having one man run a country, that everything centered around him and every system controlled by him. Just throughout the chain, it has a chain reaction to simple things like just to get an ID as a Swazi. You see, I have to get this document because it's a control mechanism. Now, I have to go to the Home Affairs. When they get to Home Affairs, then they check, who's this guy? Oh, Manti, you're against the king. No, you're not getting an ID. You see, this is what we're facing in Swaziland. You see, it's a system designed so that you can victimize people. I just called my sister here. This is my sister. Swaziland ambassador to the United States. She is my sister. I had an argument with her. I had a fight with her over just hair. I said, Sisinjabu, I'll send you my passport, a copy of my passport. I'll send you a copy of my birth certificate. All I need is an ID, a Swazi ID. I'll take the passport size pictures. I'll fill out the forms. I'll give you a copy of my birth certificate. And then you just send the documents to Swaziland Home Affairs and say, I'm ambassador, I've authenticated, this is Mandla Montgomery Nkosi Dlamini, Nguyelo. That's it. And then you process the ID. Because I'm a Swazi. I'm here in America. And then you send the ID, you send it to the embassy calls me, Monty, your ID is here. It's that simple. But just say, oh, no, we don't process these documents here. Mandla, you must understand what she gives a long run around story. In fact, cancel. Sehlulana na cancel, lo shonge wakhona. Embassy. So I had to escalate it. I said, awufake siswami Njabu. She's my sister. Bengafuna icala etulo. Ngathi angiqale phasi. Ngafaka ngena kuphumzile ubamba tincingo. Then from Phumzile wangifaka kulo shonge. Sehlulana vele. And I had to have a 1 hour conversation with Loshong over me getting an ID. And I'm a Swazi, born and raised in Swaziland. I can't get an ID. Even identify what's in Swati, ID. I have a passport here. Yabona le mvoyeni kangwane ukuthi hey madoda. Yeah, so now I had an argument with Swo. Sasicabene nalo shongwe. He's a counselor there. Ngithi no, what you're telling me is stupid. You're an idiot. Because you are repeating and repeating the same thing over and over and over. I've heard you. You're saying no, I can't get an ID. Go home. They're saying I must go home to Swaziland and get the ID. You see? What is the purpose of an embassy? You see, Njabu is here to babysit the children of Makosetiva because it's a one-man show. Everything revolves around him and everything must be controlled by him. The Home Affairs, Lindiwe Dlamini is in charge. I went to school with her here. She's the same one who kidnapped a Tanzanian woman from the Manzini clinic to do this juju rubbish. She kidnapped that dead woman of Tanzania to go give the human body parts, juju, whatever they do. It's amazing how you can take a whole country, one man, and make it to such a banana republic. I mean, really, people. So I can get a basic service just to get an ID that identifies, oh, Mantia, you were born here in Swaziland. You deserve an ID here. I'm an embassy. I'm an ambassador here. I'll get it for you. I'll go to Swaziland Home Affairs and send a diplomatic bag there. They'll process it. You'll be here in 1 week. It's that simple. If I go to the United States right now as a United States citizen, anything I want. In fact, I'll get a call in minutes. You understand? That's United States. That is the huge distinction. This is why I say we need a president in Swaziland. this king nonsense has to go. So I'm sorry. This kingship has really destroyed everything, even just to get an ID. There has to be a control mechanism. Everything must go through Mswati. You see? So now I have to go to Home Affairs. You see? Oh, when I'm phoning course, okay, I'll tell ID. You see? The ambassador here, that's her job. But no, her job instead here is to babysit the children of Makosative. You see? You see? Hey, my daughter, my team.